Hello, and welcome to Office Hours with Arrow, a LinkedIn Live event hosted by Arrow leaders who care about what senior living looks like. I'm your host and producer, Rachel Sheehan, and today with me are a few of my favorite chefs. You all look so great in your chef coats. I just love to see it. Actually, tell us real quick. I didn't prep you for this, but Nick and Sean, tell us about your logo in your restaurant.
Ours is just the fields, and it's got leaves on it.
I love it.
So ours here is 1804, and that's actually the year the city of Stowe was founded. So,
yes. So if you don't know, our restaurant names always have meanings behind them. It's really cool. And Brian, yours is just Arrow because actually you can introduce yourself and tell everyone why yours is Arrow.
Hello, I'm Brian Albrecht, Regional Culinary Director for Arrow Senior Living. So that is why mine says Arrow Senior Living on it.
I would also love to know, Brian, how did you know you wanted to become a chef? And then also how you got into senior living?
Well, that's a great question. My first job was in the restaurant. I started bussing tables, and I went from bussing tables to washing dishes to one day getting asked to jump on the line. And once I jumped on a line, there was just something about it, that rush and that passion and creating something. So that's how I got into cooking, and I've been doing it ever since. And I was in the restaurant business for a while, and I got into senior living in 2006. And I was really looking for something a little bit different. And once I got into senior living, I realized, wow, it's like you're there and you're at a place and you're seeing the same people every day, and you're cooking for those residents, and they start to become family. So I've been in senior living ever since.
I love that. That's so cool. Nick, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us how you knew you want to be a chef and how you got into senior living?
Hi, so my name is Nick Stromack, and I am the Culinary Director out here in Vitalia Stowe in Ohio. Just a little bit of background from me. So I actually got my cooking started in high school at a career center program. And what led me into that, honestly, was my grandmother was from Eastern Kentucky and was just a from scratch cook, and really fell in love watching her in the kitchen all the time. So yeah, once I got into the program, really found a niche, and I just kind of ran with it. So I also went to Sullivan University for culinary school, and that's in Louisville, Kentucky. So I lived and worked in fine dining in Louisville. When I moved home, kind of stuck with the fine dining, and then honestly, what kind of steered me in senior living direction was I have had a baby, so looking for some quality of life, and definitely found this side of the industry that's just incredible because it still really allows me to flex my culinary muscle while also still having the quality of life at home. So
I love that. Very cool. Sean?
Yeah, hi, my name's Sean Jensen. I'm the Culinary Director at the Township in Springfield, Missouri. My background, I grew up around a few different chefs, and I knew pretty young that that's what I wanted to do. I started an apprenticeship in my junior and senior year of high school, and I worked my way in fine dining hotels and restaurants. And my story is pretty similar to Nick. I had 3 babies and was ready to slow down a little bit and try to get a better work-life balance.
The babies will do that to you, right? I love learning this though, because you all started young in knowing you wanted to be a chef from a young age. I think that's so cool. So it makes sense with how great you all are at presentation and just making beautiful dishes. And even here, Elizabeth commented, Sean makes me the best food ever. So I had to give that little shout out. But today we are here to talk about Candlelight Dinners. And I'm so excited. Why are we talking about this right now? Does anybody know?
Well, candlelights, we like to do them because it's a elevated dining experience for our residents. It gives us a chance to do something different and fun and unique to our property and the company as a whole.
Yeah. And if anybody listening doesn't know what we mean when we're saying candlelight dinner, Brian, do you want to tell us a little bit what that looks like and why we call it that?
Yeah, so Candlelight Dinners is it's something different. We do a 3-course or 4-course meal, and we do it once a month. And we started this company-wide Valentine's Day last year, which was awesome. But Sean has been doing it a little bit longer. Sean, correct me if I'm wrong. How long have you been doing candlelights in Missouri?
Well, they started before I was here, and it's been going. I'll be here 5 years in November, so at least 6.
Yeah, I was going to say they had them when I was at Fremont, so that's at least 7 years, but it was even before then. So it's so cool. It kind of started regionally in Springfield area, but then, like Brian said, expanded, and now that's how Nick got involved with it. So very cool. So what is the reason we do candlelight dinners? I know Sean touched on it a little bit, but there's so many reasons we might do this. Like, why do we transform our restaurants for one night instead of having this full menu into this more elevated course menu? Why do we do that?
Well, I'll jump in, and then I can let Nick and Sean speak to it as well. But we do this. We want to do it different. Our residents, number one, they're coming to the same restaurant every day. They eat every day. We want to do something special for them, and we like to do it around themes. We like to do it like to roll out the red carpet for them. We want to do a special event for them once a month that they can enjoy something different, and we can get very, very creative, right, Sean and Nick? We can expand the menu, and we can bring our personal stuff to it. And you guys can speak a little bit more about that. But I think that's what's so amazing is you guys can put your own touch, your own chef's kiss on the menu.
Yeah, Sean, I'm going to throw up some of your dishes actually, because we're talking about that. I'll throw up Sean's first. And everybody who's watching can get even more hungry. But if you want to talk a little bit about, the creative flair or any of your dishes, I'll just go through them. But
yeah, I push on trying to take something that's more of a classic idea, but with a modern twist. So I don't want to go so far off that they're not going to understand what they're eating. Mm-hmm. I want it to be elegant enough to where they're not going to see it every day, or they may have only seen it a couple times in their lifetime.
Yeah, beautiful pictures. I'm just like, ooh, make me so hungry. I love it. Nick, how about you? I'm going to show a couple of yours too.
Yeah, thanks. So obviously it's an outlet for me to kind of express my culinary muscle, being that I went to, culinary school and worked in a lot of fine dining. It's a great outlet for me to, stay creative and really, make some flashy looking food and make sure it tastes good too.
Yeah. And that's one thing I think it's so awesome because yes, you could do that every day, of course, but when there's this elevated time and every month, I feel like you have more time to plan it out and make it look so beautiful. And I know other people help you with this, right, Sean? I know you've mentioned your sous chef being really involved. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. My sous chef, so we do 4 courses and I push him to strive to do his best, and I make him come up with 2 of the courses and I'll do 2 of the courses, so that way it's kind of a good split down of who's doing what. He's a bit more of a better chef in the traditional home style cooking of what our residents are used to here, so he'll take something that they will 100% know and elevate it to where it's a fine dining dish, and then I'll kind of go off the deep end spectrum of the different stuff. Yeah. So that's what really works here.
That's awesome. That sounds like a good partnership, kind of playing off of each other's strengths. So yeah, very cool. Yeah, I just love it. And I love looking through your dishes. I know another one of my favorite reasons we do candlelight is because it's just a night where the residents can dress up, whether there's a theme or they just want to pull out old dresses and suits again. And so I did throw up a couple pictures from Candlelights, but I just want to show everybody. I just love that part of it because I remember at the Fremont, like everyone would just wear their dresses. They don't wear as often anymore. So definitely giving some purpose there. Nick, you actually have a fun story of matchmaking that might have happened because of Candlelight, right?
Absolutely. So obviously, doing these candlelight dinners, it invites kind of this like intimate, fun evening. And so, yeah, we had two single residents that were here, and the one gentleman asked the lady resident if she would mind attending, the candlelight dinner with him. So it kind of cultivated this little date night, and they've actually been canoodling ever since. So love to see it. It was awesome.
I love it. That is amazing. And I think that's one of the purposes too, is it gives that memory of date night, whether they have their spouse still with them or not. So what you do is not just about feeding them, making a beautiful dish, but you are giving so much purpose in that memory. So thank you for doing these candlelights. And I also wanted to share, this is kind of a long comment, I'm going to summarize, but Elizabeth put up about how special it is in memory care and how they would get dressed up too. And just felt like they were at fine dining. And it says, I had multiple residents say, I love this cruise ship. They have the best food. And so that's another part to add in, is that and we'll talk a little more about the logistics, but you do this in independent living, assisted, and memory care, which is a huge undertaking. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But I just wanted to bring that up. And then also, we're talking about this right now because Farm to Table is coming up, if it hasn't already, in our communities, but I know you both have yours next week. And that's how we're kind of tying in traditions, our Aero traditions, into candlelight dinners sometimes. So that's another way, just another purpose, is we're taking one of our traditions and things we celebrate and turning it into our candlelight. As far as themes, so I did just mention one, but I would like to know each of your favorite themes that we've done for candlelight dinner, or that you've chosen to do. Nick?
Yeah, so actually this one coming up next Wednesday it just happens to be my favorite. So it's the Farm to Table theme. And what better time in Ohio, especially, the springtime. So, fresh local produce and eggs and honey, and actually able to source some local chicken that'll be on my menu for this go around as well. And some Lake Erie walleye. So love being able to utilize some local product and really, get along with the spring fling. I love all the produce coming out, and yeah, it's awesome. So
my favorite time is everything we do in the fall. I love working with more of the hearty foods and root vegetables when those all start coming out. It's just that's my time to shine.
Yeah, I love that. Brian, I don't know if you have a favorite either, but
I mean, I like all the themes, really. I think it's fun to do different themes. I do like Farm to Table. I do like to locally source. I do think that's amazing in springtime. So that would be one of my favorites. But I love it when we theme them, and it can be a fancy red carpet, or sometimes, Rachel, it can be something a little not as fancy, and that's also fun too. And it's also fun talking with the residents and kind of get to know what they'd like to see as well.
Yeah, and that's another thing to mention, is not every month has a theme. If it fits in with one of our traditions, it could be the theme, but other times it's chef's choice, and you get to decide the theme, which is fun. And then, like Brian just said, sometimes they're more dinner party style, where maybe it's a sock hop, or maybe it's I don't know, some kind of barbecue night or something like that, where residents will dress up sometimes in costumes, where they just come and enjoy. So I would be a costume girly. So that's always fun. But I love that. I think there's so many fun themes. And actually, coming up in May, we have our Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander one, which is always really fun, because with that one, Sean and Nick both, and all our culinary directors, will take 4 or 3 or 4, depending on how many courses you serve, but of the cultures from that tradition, and kind of showcase diversity through our dishes, which I think is so important. So very cool. Moving on though, I want to know too, what kind of special touches does you or your team do to elevate it besides the food? I know we saw a couple things in the pictures, but if you guys want to explain a little bit.
We change all of our dining room around. We set it up to where it's dimly lighted, all tablecloths everywhere. We use electric candles on all the tables, and we'll put nice table decorations out. Sometimes our directors even dress up a little bit more because they're helping with the event. We try to go all out as a visual and eating experience for it as well.
Yeah, Nick, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just kind of following up with what Sean said. Yeah, we definitely work closely with our resident services director. Teresa here at my facility is just fantastic. My community, she's top notch. She really goes all out with the decorating and the table setups to really go along with the themes that we have picked out. And then one other thing that we do like to offer like a signature drink or at least like some wine to really entice the good.
I love that. That's another way to theme, have a drink to go with it. That's very cool. And so you mentioned Teresa. So I'd love for you both to share kind of that collaboration. For those of you who don't know, Teresa is the resident services director at Vitalia Stowe. And I know Sean has an amazing resident services director too. So if you both want to talk about just how you collaborate with that resident services director and then your other department heads to make this event a success.
Yeah. Lori is our resident service director here. She's the best. She's really the one that decorates all of the dining room, and she makes sure that she goes above and beyond every single time too. She does do drinks as well. And she actually comes in because I usually jump on the line with my sous chef, and me and him kind of do everything. And she actually expedites where the food's going and whose it's going to and does all the final touches to it. And she runs it better than some high-end chefs that I've worked with. So she's awesome.
Yeah, and she takes your pictures too, right? She's very picky about the picture taking. Yes.
I
love it. She's amazing. Yeah, and Nick too with Teresa, like you said. I don't know if you have anything else to add, but
yeah, no. So Teresa's definitely the type that loves to plan about a year ahead of time, which I'm completely opposite of. So she really does push me to kind of think ahead, and so we do a lot of pre-planning. Just to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row and all the the lovely decorations in house and ready to set up. So and then honestly, here we do ask all of our department heads. It's kind of an all hands-on approach for these big fancy dinners. So.
Yeah, and Sean, for you, do your department heads pitch in? Do they all, or do they rotate?
No, they all jump in, and it's just like Nick said, it's all hands on deck. So every memory care, every part of the building is doing it at the same time. So
yeah, and I can't imagine that, because I will say too, back when I did Candlelight Dinners, it was just in our independent living. So my mind is just blown that you can pull it off in 3 neighborhoods at once and still keep it to such a high standard. So y'all are incredible. So I want to talk too about a little more about making it happen. So any tips for success? Like, I know you might have the timing of things. Like, do you have 1 seating? Do you have 2 seatings? How do you set up? What's the plan that you guys go with every time?
Go ahead, Nick.
You're muted, Nick. Sorry.
All right, there we go. Rookie mistake number 2. So here at our community, we actually do 2 seating. So I do 1 at 4 o'clock and then 1 at 5:30. And I really like that setup. It also allows the residents to kind of feel like they are, maybe putting in a reservation at a restaurant. So it really kind of adds a little bit to that. And they really love being able to pick and choose, what time they can come down for the dinner. That also helps us from a logistics standpoint. So we're not getting overwhelmed all at one time. So we kind of cap each seating at a certain amount just to know that we can, comfortably get all the food out in a timely manner. So yeah, here again, we do the 2 seatings. And yeah, as far as logistics, so I try to steer my menu. It's like one option per course except for the entree. So then, table side, all we're really doing is, just taking like an entree order. And that seems to keep the process rather smooth. So
Ours is a little different. We do all three of our communities at the same time. Memory care, we send our food to our chef that's down there, and he plates everything up for them. And our IL and our assisted living, they all sit down at 5 o'clock. We kind of change back and forth between doing a soup or salad, but it's all table side between our independent living and our assisted living side. And I print out menus that has the whole 4-course on it. And our resident service actually puts a little IL or AL on it, and they'll have the resident's name on it. And they could go circle which of the 2 entrees that they want, and that would be their ticket. So our servers go around and pick up a whole table at a time, bring it back. So that way we're making food for everyone at the same table at the same time. So no one's eating and not eating at the same time.
That's really interesting because for everybody watching, if you're not with Arrow, we do 7 to 7 dining normally, and we have a full menu of things to, and servers are putting it in the tablets now and all that. So like that kind of takes away that whole thing for one night. And so have you guys found, is it kind of like an easier night for you? Do you feel like it's more streamlined? It's just different, I know. So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that at all.
Yeah, me and my sous chef, we feed off the rush from it. We try to race each other and kitchen talk to each other to see who could get it done faster while we're doing it.
I love it.
Yeah, so my team here, they actually really love doing the candlelights because they do feel like it's kind of an easier night, and we do tend to get out a little bit earlier. So they definitely look forward to the candlelight dinner nights. It's definitely an all hands on deck approach. I'm kind of a little bit similar with Sean as far as like how they order. We do take the orders, and then I actually expedite my line out and try to do like bulk plating so that everybody does get fed at the same time. So
yeah, awesome. So is there anything maybe from your years of doing this that maybe didn't go well and you've learned from? I know that always happens because I can't imagine, like I said, doing all 3 communities at once. There's got to be things that didn't go perfectly. So if you want to share any stories there.
One thing that I've learned big from is trying to do a hot dessert. If you don't have enough space to feed 130, 140 people at the same time, trying to keep that one thing hot, it could be challenging quickly. So planning, like we've talked about, planning ahead of time on how you're going to do this, how you're going to execute everything instead of just winging it that moment. That was a big one I had to learn on a dessert.
I would have never thought of that because that is one nice thing about dessert. You can have it all done earlier in the day if you wanted. Yeah. Wow. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, I think for me, just because it is such a different style of dining, when we first started them, my team was just kind of like, what is happening? Kind of all over the place. So best piece of advice I have is just making sure that you got a solid plan and you're super organized, keeping the communication open, and delivering my expectations, coming from a fine dining background where, I've done similar dinners. I knew in my head kind of how I wanted it to go. And so just really trying to translate that out. It took a couple of times to get it to run smooth. So, I think, just making sure that you're well organized and the communication is good.
And for yours, Nick, have you always done 2 seatings?
Yeah. So, again, just right off the bat, not that our dining rooms are small by any means, just knowing the level of dining that I want to provide. I just kind of wanted to cap that and really make it super special for each seating. So yeah, I've started right off the bat with the 2 seatings. So
yeah, because we can also invite prospects and families to this, so you kind of need that extra space too. So Very cool. Well, also, you mentioned a little bit about how your staff reacted at first, Nick. Is there any other like resident, family, or any other staff members' feedback on this event? Do they enjoy it month after month? What's that kind of like?
I will say, so, we do a Sunday brunch as well, monthly. And this was a really nice change of pace for everybody. So collectively, I think the entire community is just ecstatic over, this event. They really enjoy it. So it's kind of outshines the brunch a little bit, just as, as much as they like it. So yeah, no, we get a ton of really positive feedback from doing these candlelight dinners.
Sean, do your residents feel the same?
Yeah. I have a select few residents, as soon as we get done with one candlelight, they're asking me what we're going to be cooking on the next one. And I always tell them, like, oh, we're going to have to wait and see.
I was like, do they have suggestions for you?
Yeah. No, they love when we do candlelights. Especially, I mean, like what Nick said, they'll be asking me, because we try to do our candlelights closer towards the end of the month, depending on how things are going to work in the month. They'll always be asking me at brunch, what are you doing for candlelight? What are you doing for candlelight? I just try to keep it very minimal, just to what proteins we're doing. The rest of it's kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
So,
Sean, can I ask you, do they ever recommend something and you run with it? You ask for stuff?
They have. It was probably about a year ago now. We did New Zealand lamb chops, and that was recommended. And I didn't think that would actually go over very well, and we sold every single one that I had.
Wow.
So that was cool. But yeah, I love asking them for suggestions, just to kind of see what they would want to see.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny that you mentioned lamb, because I had the exact same situation here. So I tried out lamb on a Sunday brunch and didn't sell like any. And then, somebody suggested it, and I put it on a candlelight dinner, and yeah, sold out the same. So they love lamb.
Wow. I would not have expected that. Very cool. Are there any final thoughts, Brian, Sean, Nick, anything you want to share about Candlelight Dinners?
I just want to say that both of you do an amazing job. Amazing job at Candlelight Dinners. The food, the presentation, all the pictures, everything. You guys both are doing an amazing job. And I know the residents love it. I know they love it. So I just want to say, you guys are killing it. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Yep. I cannot wait to see what you all cook up next week for your farm to table.
No, can we get a little insight on what you're making for farm to table? Or do you not want to?
Or is it a secret?
My chef's doing a stuffed pork loin dish, and I'm doing a roasted airline chicken breast dish.
Oh, sounds so good.
Yeah, I kind of let the cat out of the bag on mine. So I got the locally sourced walleye and the chicken. So you have to wait and see exactly what I'm pairing it with, though.
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
There's always a little secretive with the menus, because I feel like y'all are very competitive. So it's like, don't tell your secrets, and we'll just see what ends up on Facebook. I love it. So I've been watching. Please go to our social media pages. You'll see all our beautiful culinary dishes. I'm so excited. I think we did it. So thank you so much for being here with me today. I will see everyone next week. Bye.